Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, everybody. I know this is very late. It just got subbed out recently, many hours ago, but I decided to watch it around 10 o'clock or so. I'm going to give you guys my recap on the special called One Piece Gold. Now, I'm going to go with my recap and so forth. So if anything else, I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Those of you who actually watch the special, I hope you guys can understand that it is very, very related to One Piece Gold. I think to all those who are One Piece fans and always been keeping up with One Piece, I suggest you watch this special first before you get to my short recap, okay? Because this will play an important part later in the future. I am sure of it. Even though most of it does look like filler and it's a waste of time. If you guys are gonna go watch One Piece Gold, there's one character that I will mention, which I don't know her name, but she will play an important role, because even though if it's filler and so forth for One Piece Gold, okay? That's one thing I will say. Go watch the special first before you watch my recap and so forth. My short recap. Hopefully it is short. So if anything else, let's just get this started. Okay, at the beginning of the episode, we have to it that the Marines are taking a little young girl named Olga, I believe. It seems like she has information to this important thing called the pure gold, apparently. And it's really, and it seems like because of its value, it is shown later in the episode, or it was revealed later that because of this pure gold, it has the ability to buy the entire world. And apparently one of the celestial dragon assistants, or dogs, whatever you want to call them, Cypher Pole Zero, is escorting her with a couple Marines. But apparently they are attacked by a person named Mad Treasure, who's a ruthless person who will go after any treasure and has excitement in it, you know? That's much of an antagonist he is. Surprisingly enough, I am pretty shocked myself to see that he actually is able to hold himself against Cypher Pole Zero. Because from what I heard or read in detail, those of you who read the manga or even kept up with the One Piece anime should understand how strong CP0 or Cypher Pole Zero is. He actually held his own against him, and I was kind of disappointed about that, because CP0 or Cypher Pole Zero is supposed to be really, really strong. Even whatever they wear, if it's the mask, that guy's mask did not even break off, which shows possibly more of their power. So as the episode continues, we have to it that Olga does escape eventually with a dinosaur, I believe. And of course, we see to it that she runs into the Straw Hats and she thinks the captain's weak. And we have to it that Robin realizes the symbol she has is a reminder of alchemy, or alchema, however you want to call it. It's like some kind of research related to the pure gold, as Robin says. And because of the Straw Hats realizes about how valuable or how interesting it is, especially for Nami apparently. If y'all have been reading One Piece and keep watching One Piece, would know what I'm talking about Nami's real greed, apparently. Obviously. As the episode continues, we get to know that they want to go on an adventure, and Olga has this intention to reveal her plans and not think of her mind. She says it out loud, which is really funny, honestly. It's a running gag throughout this special, honestly. But as the episode continues, we have to it that the Straw Hats get attacked by Mad Treasure and his crew. And later on, this pure gold that Olga has in her ring, apparently, they get swallowed up by Bombori-sama, whatever you want to call it, this giant glowfish with this giant piranha glowfish. If you guys know what this fish is with the light on its head, etc., would know what it is, apparently. And we have to it that they get swallowed up by that thing, and Luffy gets separated, and Olga ends up saving him, and as for the Straw Hats, they get separated from Luffy, etc. And we have to it that things kind of gotten a little tough, and we get to know about Olga's past. Apparently, Olga used to live as a happy young child, but apparently, because of her father making this thing called the pure gold, her mother gets killed by a pirate and so forth. And heck, Olga gets really upset about what her father did, removes the ring, and later on, the whole island that she lived on gets swallowed by Bombori-sama, that giant piranha. And she's apparently more than 200 years old. We don't really know how, but as the episode continues, it as the special continues, it gives out much more conclusions there. So we have to it that after revealing her past and so forth, and how she's 200 years old, etc., it's really surprising. Not to mention about like freaking like he gets into Luffy meets Mad Treasure and fights him head on, and he actually knows how to hold his own against him. Obviously, it's Luffy. He can hold his own against this guy. Even if he wanted to, he could go like freaking gear forth and kill him. Apparently, this does take place after after Dressrosa arc, obviously. If you even watch the special, etc., it's supposed to be obvious. But that stupid Mad Treasure guy uses Luffy's friends as a hostage to make him surrender, and he chains him up, and Oga's supposed to go with him. However, Luffy is saved by a dinosaur to be fed, but apparently we have to it that Luffy managed to get out in time, and he wants to eat the little baby dinosaurs. But apparently there's a human who dresses as a costume of a dinosaur, reveals himself, and helps Luffy get out of those chains. Eventually, it is revealed that he is Oga's father, the daughter of Oga, that little girl who's 200 years old. So it not only that shows what's been going on, but hell, he's a fat old man right now. But apparently after Luffy tells him about a little girl called Oga, he is crying tears of joy that she's alive right now, which shows a lot that he loves her daughter. And there's more to it that shows later if you watch this special, alright? So we have to it that after like the Straw Hats, most of them, such as Nami, Robin, Brook, Chopper, Usopp, is with like Mad Treasure. They are apparently going to a certain location where they at. And as for Luffy and the Professor, apparently, we have to it that Oga's father, obviously. We have to it that they managed to make one little dinosaur laugh, and they managed to take him across the gastric acid of the freaking fish or something, you know, that glamp-blowing fish. And we have to it that Luffy runs into some trouble with some copycats, but he gotten rid of them like no tomorrow. And we have to it that Oga realizes how much, after seeing certain traps and tests about what the Straw Hats are doing, such as Brook playing the music, protecting him from so forth, it shows that Oga realizes how much the Straw Hat crew cares for each other, you know. Also, we get to know a little backstory about like Nami. She apparently met this one woman who apparently had to steal treasure back then, but apparently like we have to it that she used her as a decoy to like get away, and that person becomes very, very important later for the movie, for the sequel in the movie. I am pretty sure of it, because like as the episode continues on, I'll talk about it later. We have to it that Nami does reveal that before they entered the traps and going through such pain, you know. And we have to it that Zoro, Sanji are okay along with Frankie, and we have to it that Zoro and Sanji and Luffy decide to go after the remaining of the Straw Hats, while Frankie stays behind to like build up the Thousand Sunny, etc. And we have to it that they went through a lot of traps and so forth, and the final one was like you had to put your trust in your comrades and so forth, and open the gate or door, you know. And of course, like Nami does fail a lot, but the other four Straw Hats and so forth, except for Robin, who's apparently chained up, etc., decides to protect Nami from being crushed, you know. Luffy arrives right on time and destroys the crushing trap and clashes against like freaking Mad Treasure for using his friends. And we have to it that that Oga's father arrived on time and activates a trap to put Oga and the others to safety, you know. And we have to it that Oga had the pure gold in his old laboratory, not to mention about like Oga and Robin reading a book about like the research, you know. It mentions like a long time ago that because of Oga having some kind of disease that was causing her pain and so forth, he decides to create the pure gold without any consequences to save his daughter, which is very important because Olga held a grudge against him for 200 years because her mother died, and it caused a lot of chaos and it caused a lot of trouble. That shows a lot, you know. Olga, who did not even notice this or realizes that her father created the pure gold for her daughter to keep the disease at bay or something, is able to like do so. Not to mention, Olga tries to use a suicide bomb in the present day to destroy everything with him, the Mad Treasure. But apparently we have to it that Mad Treasure ends up saying that he would take the pure gold, use it for himself, take all the treasures in the world, and use Straw Hat Luffy's crew to assist him more as tools. So this upsets Luffy so much, he clashes against them, and it seems like he struggles a bit, but he manages to push him off. As for Zoro and Sanji, they had to take care of the other crewmates, which they handle no problem. And Sanji himself, there was a crewmate on Mad Treasure's crew who has ability to camouflage. He had a problem with Sanji because Sanji knew about what to do with like the invisibility or camouflage devil fruit power, you know. And apparently Sanji is perverted. Apparently he can't like help but peek at women's bats, etc. I'm like thinking in my mind, oh my god, Sanji. But that's the funny part about him. As for Zoro, he took care of a crewmate who uses arrows, and it's a woman. Apparently he scared her to death to a point where she just knocked out or something. Obviously it would be something simple. As for Luffy, he does end up beating up Mad Treasure really badly after what he's been doing, and he managed to break all of his chains with Gear 3rd and so forth, yada yada yada, and managed to bust through. As for the Straw Hats, they managed to get out in time because Luffy made an impact by blasting Mad Treasure to a certain body part, and then like managed to get out of there. As for Mad Treasure and his crew, they are stuck in there. So, ha ha ha, sucks for them. And as for Mad Treasure, he did survive, as is shown in the credits, obviously, and so forth, you know. And as for Luffy and the others, they end up seeing that Olga does have an incurable disease, which is a South Blue fever or something, I think. Something about a fever whatsoever. And Chopper actually has a cure for that and tries to get Olga to take it, but she hates shots. But Chopper eventually reaches to her and manages to make her take a shot. And, you know, we have to it that Chopper and the others and the rest of the Straw Hats, does have their time. As for Frankie, which I forgot in detail, he does rescue Nami, Robin, Olga, the Professor, Olga's father, Usopp, Chopper, yeah. And, yeah. Frankie boosted up to a point where the Thousand Sunny's not going to dissolve or something, so that's a good thing. And later on, after their adventure, we have to it that Nami actually stole something of a Vivre card of Testoro, you know? Which that guy is shown later after the credits. But before I get to the credits, we have to it that the Professor did make the pure gold again, which he swore not to make it again, but he did anyway. And eventually, because he recreated something of a pure gold, etc., he made a lot of money. He swallowed one for himself. Not to mention about, like, as the credits roll, it seems like he seems to be okay, no problem, you know, which is really, really hilarious. As for CP0, of course, like, it's obvious who the leader is, talks to a certain member and says that should we continue searching for the pure gold, but the guy who's apparently CP0's leader, obviously I think he is the leader, I don't think there's no one else who would be fit for it, he says, no, we'll just, like, leave it alone, maintain the balance of the world, you know? And of course, Mad Treasure does show up at around the end of the credits and gets sent off to, like, in Bonbori's stomach, obviously, and he's gonna be stuck there for the rest of the time, etc. As for the leader, it's obvious who he is. It's pretty obvious who the hell that leader guy or that person talking to the CP0 member is. There's no denying that. But as the episode continues towards the end, we have to it that that the main antagonist, which I'm pretty sure he is the main antagonist, ends up showing up towards the end of after the end of the credits, etc., and ends up saying there's no need to worry, we can always hire someone more. And we have to it that what makes it more and ugly right now, that person that appeared in Nami's backstory is actually there. I could tell by her figure, her body, obviously, and her hair color is right there, you know? So this shows that she's gonna have a certain role to play in the later future episode, you know? And dang it, she looks freaking beautiful and hot, obviously. So it looks like maybe after Nami's backstory, she might have went to Tessaro or whatever that guy's name to maybe help out or serve him or something. As for the guy who says that things are getting really interesting, I think Testoro, whatever his name is, he ends up getting ready for his next plan in action. And the CP0 leader who talked to that CP0 member, which I think he's the leader, says that guy's annoying since he's the one that orchestrated everything all together. And from what I learned in the special whatsoever of One Piece in its previous episodes, the Civil Mine arc, etc., we get to know that he himself actually has a power of the Tenryubito, which is pretty surprising, and so forth. Anyways, as for the Straw Hats, Nami did steal a Vivre card that they supposed to keep and lead to Testoro's grand city whatsoever, you know? This grand entertainment city. Whatever it is, it's gonna be taking place there in the movie. So overall, this special does make importance in One Piece film Gold, because this does play a certain role in what's going to be happening next. Especially there's one character there that is introduced in Nami's backstory, which you guys have to watch and take a look. Okay? Those of you who watched the special before this recap, be glad you did. But if you just watch this recap just to get it over with and see what's going on and to not watch it, well, you just spoiled it yourself and it's going to be not much fun. And you may not know who that character is in Nami's backstory. So overall, I think I had a lot of fun watching this special, even though it was an hour 45 minutes long, but it is 2 hours and 10 minutes, for a certain amount of time. But still, I actually had a lot of fun with this special. I hope you guys watched it before you watched this recap and made some theories and things of what's been happening, not to mention what can happen next. Anyways, I look forward to the movie and so forth. If they come out subbed and so forth and released on the internet, I'll be sure to watch it and give you guys my recap on it and my thoughts on it, alright? So until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this recap, and as much as you enjoyed the special, I know I did for certain, Straw Hat here and so forth, big fanboy of One Piece, etc. Until then, I'm Alpha Zitto, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out, bye-bye. Toot-toot-doo! I'm gonna be king of the pirates. Sorry, that's a little line that Luffy always says all the time.